What's up, Rockstars? My name is Raul. Thank you for joining me. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you don't know who I am Raul from San Diego. I'm a musician who's been playing most of his life, since middle school, on and off some years. That's a little bit about me. These last few years, I've been really trying to lock in and play more music and become somebody and build a brand of sorts to help out other musicians. The purpose of this video is to give you some insight specifically for beginners, intermediate players, and this may even be a refresher lesson for the experts and the professionals. I consider myself a professional, so let's get right into this. I don't want to waste your time. I know you guys are all busy, so let's dive right in. So, 5 things I want to cover. The first thing, as a musician, you must accept that. You must accept the fact that you are now a guitar player, now a musician, and of course, if you want to stop playing, you can stop playing. No one's holding a gun to your head to say, hey, you got to play for the rest of your life. No one. There may be some special, rare occasions where that's the case, but unlikely. Anyways, back to it. Believe yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe your word. Say, I'm going to practice. I'm going to play guitar. Tomorrow, I already set aside 30 minutes to play. The next day, I set aside 30 minutes. I know the day after that, I won't have much time to play, so I'm only going to play for 5 minutes. That's the mindset you should have. Set aside the time already as a musician because you're a responsible professional musician. And as a beginner, just play when you can. I always tell all of my students to play at least for 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes to get started, and I even consider picking up the guitar, tuning it as part of practice and part of play. That's just me though. That might not be the case for everybody teaching guitar, but that's me. I always forget about the importance of taking small baby steps. If you want to be able to bench press 45 pounds on each side, you have to be able to bench press 25 pounds, 10 pounds on each side. So that's the case. I always forget about that. Forget the bar. Push-ups. If you can't even do some push-ups, you shouldn't even try to attempt 220 pounds. As an example, to take it to the guitar, you wouldn't just start off by shredding super fast without knowing where your finger positions are. You need to learn where to place the notes, where to find the fundamentals. I'll get to that in the next few steps. Okay, that's the first step. Believe in yourself. Accept that you are now on your way to becoming a powerful professional musician. The second thing, have goals and practice. When you're playing, be very deliberate about what you're doing. Don't just riff the same thing over and over again and expect to get good at something else. You don't want to be a busy idiot. That's the term that I've been hearing, and it describes it pretty well. You're working and you're trying to figure something out, but you're not quite cracking the code. You're not quite getting to that next level. So when you're practicing, practice the right things and be patient with it because it does take time. Something as simple as a palm muse. It took me like a 30-minute session with my neighbor. Just that is practice. So as a beginner myself, when I started off, I was like, okay, where do I start? What do I do? I had a goal to learn Crazy Train. I had the goal to learn Smoke on the Water, and now I'm just like riffing up. Oh, and then what's that? Cream, whatever the Cream song. Just a bunch of rock songs. I never want to push onto my students or anybody that wants to learn from me to learn rock and roll first. I don't ever tell people to learn because I don't want to make my goals your goals. You should have your own goals. You should be able to say, okay, I heard this classical piece. I want to learn this. I want to understand music theory. I want to learn this. I want to learn chords. I want to learn this. Have your own goals. And then you'll notice that as you keep checking them off, like, ooh, done. I learned that. You just build momentum because you can always spiral upwards and gain this sensation of like, wow, I can do this. I'm a musician. No one's telling me to stop or slow down, and it just feels great. Now, on to my next topic. I actually have a bit of notes here. So the next thing is get the fundamentals down. And I mentioned this to kind of just cover a bigger landscape. when you get the fundamentals down, you really start to get this burning desire to move forward and just keep improving. Once you figure out where to put your finger, play 2 strings, play double stops basically, 3 strings, 4 strings, 5 strings, 6 strings. You just, over time, you will get the sensation under your fingers because the notes are all right here. When you're playing piano, the notes are right under your fingertips. When you're playing wind instruments, brass instruments, they're all there. You just have to be able to get the fundamentals down so you know what note is what. And then as you get more experience and put more time into the instrument, you just, over time, like, get familiar with it. You just start to memorize these things. And at some point, your ears will just like click. You're like, oh, wow, I can hear that. It sounds bad. Let me fix that. So that's where I'm coming from for that step. So let's go ahead and go over these last 3 real quick. Just 1, believe in yourself and believe that you can do it. Take the action and do it. Second thing, have goals and take proper, deliberate action. Basically, practice properly. And the third thing, of course, is to get the fundamentals down and really, really take your time to get the fundamentals down because it'll just be so much easier later when you don't have to like go back and fix it or do it right or learn how to do it all over again. Do it right the first time. Now, for the fourth thing. So, this fourth item that I'm going to talk to you guys about is quite, I guess, fascinating. I guess to me at least. Because when I discovered this recently, it really kind of just blew my mind. And it's actually about the mind. So, human beings have been around for a while. And the guitar's only been around for like 500, 1,000 years, maybe not even that. Well, I think 500 years, 600 years, 1500s. Let's say, 700 years. And when you consider this time frame, you have to remember that we didn't have the guitar a million years ago. So the evolution never required to learn music. We never, to put it simply, the brain was not designed to learn the guitar. It was not designed to learn the piano, to learn the instruments. It was designed for survival. It was designed so we can find food, find shelter, find our people, and survive and thrive, ideally, right? Because we want to just have an abundant life, a great life. And once the guitar and the instruments came in, the brain kind of went, what are you doing, man? I don't use these fingers. I don't use these hands to play instruments. I use them to hunt and gather. So consider that when you're learning and playing guitar. The right hand has a job to do. The left hand has a job to do. You can use your legs. You can use your body as a rhythm and a tempo. You can nod your head. You can bang, right? So you can use your whole body. And you just have to remember to tell your brain that it's important to you. It matters. It's not necessarily for survival to play guitar, unless you're a professional musician and you have to play to make money. But there's other ways to make money, of course. But to those that want to play, just play. And you'll realize that the brain needs to have that understanding. And it needs to be told and reminded every day that, hey, the left hand has a job to do. You're gonna practice the scale. That was quite a mind bender for sure. So just remember that, guys. That's a big one. That's a big one to take in. So anyways, that was the fourth one. The brain is your greatest tool. Your whole body, your whole aura is your best tool. So use it wisely and remember to be gentle with it because you only have one body. Honestly, I don't want to keep going on with this. So that was the fourth one. The fifth one, the last thing I want to say is it goes back to practice and it goes back to practicing properly. But beyond that, you have to remember that if you want to become a great musician, you're going to have to understand how to play with a backing track, a group, a team, a drummer. I'm very fortunate to have brothers that are super into music, just naturally just like attached and attracted to it. So for me, it was super easy, just like, hey, bro, get on the drums. I'm on it. And then I'll just play guitar. And then vice versa. If I want to play drums, I'll just play drums for a little bit, put it down as best as I can. And then he puts on the guitar. My other brother goes, like, raps, sings, whatever he wants to do. And it's just a lot of fun. The main point that I'm trying to make for this fifth topic is to play with people. Ideally, you always want to be comfortable when you're playing your instrument, but sometimes you're in settings that are just not easy, not necessarily comfortable. You have to be able to calm your nerves down. And that's a big part of playing music, to be able to take the moment to breathe. Once you become that professional musician, you have already experienced this feeling that I'm talking about, of just getting into a room, not knowing what's going to happen, hoping you play the right notes, hoping you do the right thing. But once you've attained that status of professional, rock star, just wielding your axe, playing like an absolute animal, like a legend, you won't even feel that anymore. You've already gone through that feeling over and over again, that you're just so in your element. Playing a rock show on a Saturday, on a Tuesday is just a normal thing for you. For people that have never played music or decided to get on a stage or just play in front of an audience, it may seem so uncomfortable. There's that fact that one of the biggest fears of human civilization is this feeling of public speaking. And my brother told me the other day that it's just because they don't want to say the wrong things and then be cast away and ostracized and just basically just shunned away from the tribe. And it just goes back to natural evolution. And it's just a cool thing to kind of get into, but it's a whole like rabbit hole topic, and get into it if you want. It's really not that, once you get it down, it's not that big of a deal. But yes, we all want to feel like a part of something. So that's why you have to practice. Once you've practiced and you put the time in and you did it right, you won't have to stress about doing anything wrong. You will just get up there, and if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You just keep going. Life goes on. That's the biggest thing I wanted to just cover on this fifth point. Just play with people. Get out of your comfort zone. And I want to just leave you guys with this quote. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. Go with a strong group. If you're hanging around a bunch of musicians, it's going to be so much easier to talk about and play music. If you're hanging around a bunch of people that don't know anything about music, it might be a little bit tougher. That's all I want to say about that. That was my long explanation for what a beginner and starting musicians should consider and think about when they're about to embark on a new journey to play the instrument, the guitar, the piano, the wind instruments, any sort of instrument, the drums, any instruments. Now, take what you want from this video. This is just for me ultimately to look back at and be like, okay, maybe I need to listen to my own device, or maybe even take out and omit some things from what I'm saying. Maybe some things I'm saying are just not quite easy to understand. So I hope this does help, though. I hope this does take you guys from starting position and just takes you like a quantum leap to the very next level that you desire to be at. It does take that fire to just get the practice in. And to finish off this video, if you ever feel like you kind of just lost and wasted time and not playing, don't worry. Practice right now. Practice today. Practice for a minute. I will keep reminding you guys that I do truly believe that if you have a heartbeat, you can play music, you can sing, you can perform. But you have to be willing to get in that uncomfortable state. Go through that period of change where it is almost unbearable. And once you're on the other side, you will look back and be like, wow, I'm that person. I'm so good now that I can just not play for months and just pick it up. Now I wouldn't recommend not just going cold turkey, but you'll surprise yourself. You'll give yourself the chills. Anyways, guys, I'll let you guys do your thing now. That's what I had in mind to share with you guys. those 5 things. There's obviously a couple other things I could go into, but I don't want to take too much time. It's already a long video. If you guys have any questions, if you guys are stuck with anything, please let me know. I'm setting up this Discord where you guys can just jump in and ask guitar-related questions or music-related questions. And I don't want it to get too confusing or too convoluted to the point where it's like, oh my god, intimidating to jump into my Discord, because it's just going to be a very private group. But just try it out. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Go.